Fade in. Welcome to the Occupy Democrat Show. I am Jason Cole. That is...
I'm Mark Bland.
He is Mark Bland. And we are the Occupy Democrat Show. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing okay, Jay.
Doing better than people in L.A., potentially. In L.A., they're having some issues.
Couple.
They have
Doesn't
some issues,
seem like everybody's at the pool party this weekend just kind of hanging out.
It does not. At least parts of LA.
I mean, guys, it is the beginning of June. This is summertime 2025. This is when you're supposed to be getting ready for 4th of July and going to the swimming pool and all that stuff. So.
About what? About 2 weeks away or 2 weeks out from pool openings everywhere. And that's what they're doing there.
Yeah, we've already had the pool open 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they're having to deal with that.
So
I just want to point out, though, before we do this story about the protest in L.A., these ICE agents are picking up people at immigration courts where they're supposed to be, where they're meeting their obligations to try to become citizens or to try to extend green cards or visas. They are finding them at their jobs where they pay taxes and contribute to society and do a job for a company that makes money. They don't seem to be grabbing the MS-13 people and the criminals and the murderers, and the rapists. They seem to be getting people's fathers and moms and brothers and sisters who work in communities and have friends, not MS-13 gang members, like they say.
I'm super surprised.
I'm shocked, too.
Shocked. I'm shocked that we have a Donald Trump regime that's in office that finds an opportunity to jump into a situation. Guys, this is just not working out well. This ain't working out well for the country. This ain't working out well for these cities, the individuals in these cities. People are getting hurt. Things are being thrown at each other. A lot of bad stuff going on. And, it's funny. It plays into that Republican argument of whenever those people on that side. Now, who's to say who those people are, right? How do you know that guy on top of that car smashing it with a skateboard or a bat or a this or that, whatever it is, how do you know that person's a liberal?
No,
how do you know that person's a Republican? How do you know that these people are who they are? You don't. These are just regular people that have decided to engage in this type of attitude. Now, there's a lot of people that were peacefully protesting these situations. And the reason I'm being trepid here is simply this. Next week's the No Kings thing, the 50-51.
Mm-hmm.
And that's supposed to be Saturday. And that's in every city across the country.
Yes.
That's not just L.A.
Nope.
That's not just New York. That could be wherever you live. If they decide to allow these things to persist and then they continue to push these ideas in these other places and looking for people to create problems with, these are flashpoints that could be developing. You've just given me a date and a time and a location for a bunch of people who are definitely siding with the individuals who tend to be anti-Trump. You're siding with those people. You're giving locations of places where these things can pop off. I'm worried about those people. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about those things popping off in those places and getting out of control. Don't get me wrong, guys. I've heard all the Republican arguments. Oh, there's 13, 14, 15 million people in L.A. You're talking about less than 250,000 people that were involved in all of this across the board, top to bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Including ICE agents and the people they were running down and the people that were throwing this and that. You're talking lots and lots of people just had a normal, typical normal day.
Yeah, they did.
All weekend long. And they did. They sure did. That doesn't negate that these things are happening in these places like New York and L.A. I don't know, Jay. I don't know what to think.
It's an interesting time.
It's...
We have some video with the timeline of what happened, starting with Friday. If they want to throw that up, we can discuss
raids
that.
this morning
That's the
were
beginning
here
of it
in
here.
the
So
wholesale clothing
the
business
Indian
called
Immigration and
Ambiance.
Customs
Federal agents were
Enforcement,
inside, and
ICE,
that's when a crowd
protest in
formed
Los
outside.
Angeles,
People
sparked by a
surrounded the
series of
building.
immigration
And after
raids
several hours, that's
that
when
were
more agents
unfolding
came
over
in
the past
with
several
armored vehicles
days.
and vans, and they
So
moved in
on
and
Friday,
dispersed the crowd.
9:15
As you said, there
local
was pepper
time,
spray,
ICE, along with
confrontation,
agents from the Department of Homeland Security, FBI, and the Drug Enforcement Agency, or administration, conducted coordinated military-style immigration raids at multiple locations in Los Angeles. Now, these were at businesses. These were a place called Ambiance Apparel, clothing wholesaler in the Fashion District, a second Ambiance facility near 15th Street and Santa Fe Avenue in South Los Angeles, and at a Home Depot in the Westlake District, targeting day laborers. They were getting people who, I don't really see it in some cities like ours, but they show up to Home Depot and they get jobs. They get jobs with other construction companies. They get jobs with people who are doing home repairs. They hired these guys to come help them. So at least 44 people were arrested for alleged immigration violations, with one additional arrest for obstruction of justice. Community advocates estimated around 70 to 80 detentions, though exact numbers are varying. Federal agents were wearing tactical gear, used flashbang grenades and less than lethal ammunition to disperse crowds, attempting to block disperse crowds that were attempting to block ICE vehicles, particularly in the Fashion District, where they did 2 of these raids. Someone named David Huerta. He is president of the Service Employees International Union. I'm assuming that these would be like restaurant workers, fast food workers, people like that. He was arrested for allegedly obstructing federal agents by blocking their vehicle. He was injured, treated at the Los Angeles General Medical Center, and transferred to the Metropolitan Detention Center later that afternoon. So not sure if he's still in jail or not. But they escalated as crowds started to gather in the Fashion District. In these videos here, after ICE operations and hundreds of demonstrators gathered, they gathered outside the Edward R. Royal Federal Building, that is in downtown Los Angeles, where the detainees were being processed after being picked up at these locations. A lot of protesters were chanting, "Set them free, let them stay." Others started spray painting ICE slogans or anti-ICE slogans on the building. Federal agents, including DHS officers, fired pepper balls, used pepper spray to disperse the protesters, blocking entrances and exits to the federal building. Over 100 people were arrested on Saturday, primarily for obstructing federal operations. So that is what's going on out there. The Los Angeles Police Department, however, they were not involved in the immigration raids, but they were called to manage the civil unrest. They have called most of these protests peaceful. Most of the pepper spraying and flashbangs and things like that have been shot by federal officers. So that's a difference of opinion, I guess, but you've got the local LA PD saying these are peaceful protests. Meanwhile, federal ICE agents and DHS agents are firing pepper spray canisters, firing pepper spray bullets, rubber bullets into crowds. Morning protests spread to Paramount, a city is about 20 miles south of downtown LA, following rumors of another ICE raid that was going to happen at a Home Depot. That didn't occur, but federal agents were staging nearby, and that fueled tensions. Clashes broke out in the city of Paramount. Also in these videos, protesters threw rocks, bottles, and fireworks at law enforcement. Fireworks of all things. That seems interesting. I guess maybe mortar shells, I would suppose that would be. I'm not sure, like shooting bottle rockets would be very effective. But they responded with tear gas, flashbang grenades, and rubber bullets, like I had said before. These rubber bullets, I don't know if you heard, hit an Australian reporter named Lauren Tomasi. She is the U.S. correspondent for 9 News Australia.
Looks like they were shot at her.
Yeah,
if you watch the video.
Yes, it definitely looks like she was targeted. A car was set on fire on Atlantic Boulevard in Paramount. Shopping carts were overturned to create barricades. Later that afternoon in downtown LA, that's when the National Guard showed up. And that is a bit of contention.
Why is that a bit of contention, Jason?
Normally, the request comes from the governor of that state. In this case, the governor was bypassed completely, wasn't asked his opinion, and the National Guard just showed up. That made things sort of worse. They formed a line to clear the protesters from the Metropolitan Detention Center. Again, tear gas, pepper. I haven't heard the phrase pepper balls in a while. Until
since
this.
Michael Brown and the whole situation we dealt with here in St. Louis.
Yes, some protesters went on to US 101, blocking traffic in at least one direction, eventually being cleared by authorities. And Compton, across the Los Angeles River on the whole other side of town, but from the Paramount protest, they continued with further clashes. Also in those videos, protesters threw rocks, glass bottles, fireworks again, while law enforcement broke out their flashbangs. President Trump then signed his memo ordering 2,000 National Guard troops. Now, I'm not sure how many are still there as of today, but 2,000 descended upon L.A. County and L.A. City eventually during Saturday. So how's that? Sounds fun, right?
This is a Title X issue. This is a states' rights issue. Do any of you out there know what Title X is? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Title X is basically the thing that tells you why you can use the National Guard. When they did it in, Alabama, Mississippi for the school situation back when they were sending people of color to school for the first time and mixing with the whites. In that situation, they used the National Guard to allow them to get into the schools. But the National Guard is usually something that's only called up for an extremely important situation. And in most cases, it's going to be called up by the state. It's going to be called up by the governor of the state. It's a states' rights discussion, boys and girls. It's literally the one thing that Donald Trump prided himself on being. States' rights and deregulation, his first term. I said it a few weeks ago with the Larry Hoover situation. I said when they freed Larry Hoover and he gave him the pardon, but he didn't have the state side of it knocked down, everybody went on to social media and immediately criticized Trump and said, your pardons aren't overreaching. Your pardons don't have power. Your pardons don't get them out of jail. He still has to do 200 years in jail, even though not federally. That kind of stuff pisses Donald Trump off. It makes him realize he doesn't have full banana republic style control of the United States of America. So now he's going to start pushing issues, taking states' rights away from states. You see, LA is a perfect spot. Everybody comes to LA because it's Hollywood. It's right down the road from Tijuana and the border crossing. Why not continue to live where we live already? This isn't like they cross down there and they come to St. Louis, and St. Louis is the flashbang of America. This is where it all emulates from. No, the Michael Brown situation, one time a few years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Outside of that, no. They live down there. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people from Mexico who live in L.A., a lot of people of color who live in L.A., a lot of immigrants that live in L.A. So what better a place to go take the National Guard against the state's will, throw it into the mix, and sit there and say stupid things, dumb things. I think that he said that he was cool with Governor Newsom getting arrested.
Yeah, he said that on the lawn. He was out on the White House lawn.
He said he was cool with Governor Newsom getting arrested. In what way are you cool with a governor of one of your states? By the way, one of your biggest 5 states, as far as like GDP, money, every value, people, all of it. Like
your biggest donor state for sure.
Why are you messing with that at all? Ain't nobody giving you no money from them damn trailer parks outside of Mar-a-Lago. We've been to Florida. We know it's an alligator, a swamp, a trailer, Mar-a-Lago's entrance, another alligator, trailer. What are you talking? You getting all your money from L.A. It's a Title X. It's a states' rights situation. And unfortunately, we're pushing in the wrong direction on this because a lot of people care about states' rights. I care about states' rights.
Yeah,
I don't know if Jason does or not.
I do.
He's a Kennedy Democrat. We don't know where those guys stand anymore. It's not the 1960s anymore. But I'm just saying, like, That's kind of wild that we have a president of the United States that looks for opportunities for divisiveness. He actively adds to it. Oh, and let's not go without stating to everybody out there, the same Donald Trump that said it was Nancy Pelosi's fault and everybody else's fault on January 6th of why the National Guard didn't show up, why they couldn't be there. Oh, here's a video secretly from inside the back seat of a car 6 months after the fact where she farted a little bit and said something. Nope. What America is this? Guys, half of you are still throwing, listen, for everybody out there protesting, not going to call you a liberal, not going to call you a Republican, I'm not going to call you any of that. For the people out there protesting, when the Republicans come to the table and the first thing they say is every time there's a Republican president and protests happen, all they do is burn our cities to the ground and do stuff like that. Hey, Jordan, can you bring up that video of the cars burning? Look at that. They called those robot cars in so that they could personally put them all on fire. What does a robot car have anything to do with this protest? I get it. You're angry at America. I get it. You're not even angry at America. You're angry at white Americans. And even more succinct than that, you're angry at white Americans named Donald Trump. That's who you're mad at. That's who's going after your families. Cosplay Kristi Noem and all of her friends. Tom Homan, who can't wait. He says he's excited. He wants to get up there and arrest this guy and arrest that guy. And he's got a chub the size of America on right now for this stuff, guys. They love it.
He does.
They're the old dudes who are in your family that say the most crass, rude stuff about everyone in the family and around them at all times, and then sit there and just lay their hand on the fact that they're the oldest person in the family or they're one of the patriarchs. It's your father's brother, so he's okay. He can get away with saying things like this in front of everybody. No. These are trash people. They're doing trash things. And I don't think that we should be encouraging it.
No.
By finding robotic cars to smash and burn and throw rocks at and do stupid things with, Jason.
No. And I'm glad you showed that video because one thing I wanted to say was we have to make sure that Donald Trump remains the focus and remains the problem. When we do things like set cars on fire and throw rocks at law enforcement, we then become the problem, and we allow Trump to direct the narrative away from his unconstitutional actions. We allow the GOP to equate being detained without access to legal assistance and violent raids on businesses with legal protests. I'm not saying it's easy to stay nonviolent. It's hard, but we have to. This is too important. We cannot let ourselves be tricked into giving up our high ground. We just can't.
And we can't be tricked into giving up our laws that already exist on the books and the way that they stand because of the way that they were developed over the decades and decades and decades that it took to get to where we're at. Title 10 has purposes. It should be used properly. The emoluments clause has purposes.
Yes.
It should be used properly. Smoot-Hawley has purposes. It should be used properly. We have a rogue administration running the United States of America. And I know you're going, but it's because guys like you get on your microphone and you say these things and it's like, oh, no. We're observing. We're observing the news that it happens around us. We're not creating the news. I'm not in LA.
Nope.
I'm not throwing anything. I'm not on the side of the streets with a hammer breaking up the concrete to throw rocks at the immigration cars as they fly past me. I'm not doing that. I'm also not the guy masked up grabbing Kilmar's brother literally out of a quinceañera and dragging him face first into the back of a white van and then just taking him to a detention center for weeks on end. And then maybe they end up in CCOT. We're not doing that either.
I mean, really, who are these people? Who are these ICE agents? And when did they stop wearing uniforms?
Why are all of you so angry at other people existing? You know what my number one complaint that I see? Give me this camera over here. Do you know what my number one complaint with the Donald Trump administration is, Jason?
What is it?
And all of these people in this stuff? None of it has to exist. I say clumsy and unnecessary on the show all the time.
Yeah.
This administration is clumsy and unnecessary, and now rogue to an extent. But I don't see any value in any of the moves being made. All right, let's say you lock the whole country down, Donald Trump. Isolationist at the highest levels that you can possibly get it, right? No allies, no money really coming in from some support or from shipping or anything like that.
No, we don't make anything.
No trade. All that slowly dwindling down. You could say I'm wrong, but I just said slowly dwindling down day after day, week after week. Then you piss off every single person who lives in your country. You're not going to be able to have an election. You're going to get smoked. So we know that that's the next thing coming around the corner here, Don. 2026 elections, Jay. If our people are going to get primaried and lose all the seats in the House and Congress and Senate, and I didn't do anything with it for the 2 years that I had control of it completely, which, by the way, I keep hearing all of these things about Biden's America and how Biden didn't do this and how this is remnants of Biden. Biden's not around. Biden's sitting in Mar-a-Lago sipping on a Mai Tai right now. He's playing golf. He got free golf cards from Don.
He has stuff to
on
do.
Inauguration Day. Don handed him like 3 $10 gift cards to Mar-a-Lago.
That's very kind.
This dude hit the putt-putt course there like he's doing his thing. There is no AOCs and everybody controlling anything over here. Hakeem Jeffries, nope. Liberals don't have control of the House or the Senate. This is all you. So every move you're making is backed by you and the 9-0 Supreme Court that you ignore. Your ACBs and your Brett Kavanaughs that you love, they got your back, except for you ignore them too. So now you've got the whole country hating you. Everybody divided because you keep just sending police. We get it. We get it, police officers. You love a good fight. You love guns and hoses because you can drink a beer while 2 other dudes fight. That's what you really love. You don't want to get out there and actually mask up. That's not your thing. This ain't a UFC event. Nobody's going to tap and then you're going to get your hand raised. You're just going to be looking at it and hated. Hated for the things that you're doing. Hated for the people that you're being. Hated for the character that you bring to the table. And the decisions that you make. And how you act. And what you say. And then when you sit there and you defend it by, I'm just doing my job because Donald Trump told me to do what I had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it, Adolf. We heard that too. We heard that literally in the Nuremberg trials. What was it? Right after World War II, the trials.
Yeah, the Nuremberg. Yeah.
The Nuremberg trials. Yeah, we heard it.
Yeah, we heard all about it.
We were doing our job. Whatever Adolf told us, we did it. And then they were sitting there when it was all said and done. The war happened. All the people fought. All the people got killed. All the blood. All the death. All of it happened. And when it was all said and done, when they got done with their bloody war that they wanted so badly from their point of view, they were crying on a stand in front of hundreds and thousands of others of their peers, begging to not be put to death or sent to jail for the rest of their lives. Every single one of them crying on the Nuremberg trial stand about how they were just doing their job. The job of what, Jason?
The job of killing people.
The job of hurting individuals.
Yeah.
Jason, I brought up remigration on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really talks about it except for me. You didn't even know what it really was. Like when I brought it up on the show,
I've never heard that term before until Trump showed up.
Yeah. Remigration. The idea, ladies and gentlemen, that they want their people to only stay in the country and everyone else to be kicked out, period. That includes American citizens born and raised here who've lived here for 25 years, might be married with kids. They want to detain them, arrest them, and send them out of the country, deport them. Because they have a different opinion. Imagine if your opinion was Clerks 1's better than Clerks 2. And they said, Not today, it ain't. And then they literally deported you out of the country on something as dumb as 2 movies, and whether one was better than the others. Clerks 2 is better, by the way. Donkey show. End of story. With that being stated, that's the kind of mentality that they're putting into this.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Oh, your name's what? Jason spelled with J-A-Y, or is it J-A-S-O-N?
That's an A.
Oh, there's no Y after the A?
Nope.
Sorry. Deported.
Yeah. I do know
The people with the Y, those are the good ones. Everybody else, out of here. But I just don't put a Y after it. I don't care. I don't want you here. Remigration. Now you start taking Title 10, throwing it by the wayside. Now you start taking the National Guard and ignoring Gavin Newsom, saying you want him arrested. Now you start putting him out there and letting them fist fight with the Americans. You're trying to find out. But you know what this is really going to become? Something I'm excited to watch. This is really going to become a test for the United States military. You know, you guys beat your chest a lot. You beat your chest a lot about how great it is to be a military person. And we respect and love you all for the job that you do. And thank you for your service. From me, Mark Bland, here at the Occupy Democrat Show. Thank you for your service. Are you going to turn on your American citizens? Are you going to take that step and turn on your neighbors and friends? I know some of you will, because of the way you talk and the way you act, right? I talked about the family member at the Tom Homans of the world. Like, there's a Tom Homan in every neighborhood. Like, I've met a Tom Homan in almost every single neighborhood I've ever been in. I've got one in my neighborhood currently. They exist. I get it. This idea that America needs to be the way you want it. This ain't America. This ain't the America that I've known for all these years. Like, don't get me wrong. I've seen protesting before. We saw Trayvon Martin stuff. We saw the stuff after Black Lives Matter. We brought up the Michael Brown situation earlier. I've talked about all these things to a bunch of people over the years. Jason has too. But Jason, you know, this is a lot like the school shootings for me.
Yeah.
And what did I tell you about the school shootings as we got closer and more were happening every week? And eventually we got to the point where it was just like,
it was just a thing.
I don't have anything to talk about this. It seems like every few years there's going to be a Republican. They're going to do mean things to adults. Those adults are going to get angry with them. They're going to protest. Then it becomes pushing and shoving. And a bunch of people on social media going, Nancy Mace is right. See, Nancy Mace is right. Marjorie Taylor's right. Mark and Jason, they're wrong. Or vice versa. Mark and Jason are right. Marjorie Taylor and them are wrong. I don't see the value in any of this. I'm sorry, Jay.
I just wish more would be made in the media, like I said before, where they're picking these people up. They're not picking them up in bars, not finding them in an alley or at a biker gang meeting club. They're getting them out front of Home Depot. Yep. They're getting them at immigration court, where they're showing up doing what they're supposed to do. We have American citizens, white American citizens in this country right now that don't show up to court.
To jury duty.
Yeah.
We're not even going to arrest you. We just want you to sit in a box for 2 hours and listen to some other guy's bad life. Nope. You won't even show up for that. These people are actually showing up to immigration courts.
I mean, you look in the back of your
for
newspapers.
things that they are supposed to be there for. Like, I've got a document that was given to me, said show up at this immigration court for your immigration thing today. But I show up and they do what?
They arrest
me.
But
they take me down. Why?
Look at the back of your newspapers. They'll show your police blotters, and you'll see multiple people a week get arrested for failure to show up for court. It's usually a failure to appear in court charge. These people are doing what you're not doing, and they're getting deported for it. Yeah. They're trying to be citizens. They're trying to get there, and you arrest them while they're doing it. Or they're trying to work, to provide, to benefit society, and we're going to pull them and arrest them? Like, what do Republicans love complain about most? The welfare state, right? People not working, taking. These people are trying to work, and we're going to arrest them. And not only are we going to arrest them, we're going to kick them out of the country. That's crazy. It's
madness.
face.
It is. It's just madness.
Yeah, it is.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the Occupy Democrat Show. When we come back, more with myself and Jason. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the Occupy Democrat Show. Jason.
Yes.
There's other things going on in the world that deserve our attention.
There are.
And one of those things is right at the top of our screen. You can see it here on our video screen. I want to read this to you all because this came out from a journalist by the name of Terry Morin with ABC News. And he said, this thing about Stephen Miller is not that he is the brains behind Trumpism. Yes, he is one of the people that conceptualize the impulses, the Trumpist movement, and translate them into policy. It's not, it's that not what's interesting. But that's not what's interesting about Miller. It's not brains, it's bile. Miller is a man who is richly endowed with the capacity of hatred and for hatred. He is a world-class hater. You can see this just by looking at him because you can see that his hatreds are his spiritual nourishment. He eats his hate. He eats it, Jason. Trump is a world-class hater, but his hatred only is a means to an end, and that end his own glorification. Well, yeah. That's his spiritual nourishment. Okay, now, I know I butchered that because I can't read and I'm old and I can't see. I get it.
He's not wrong, though. He's not wrong. I know he got suspended, correct, for that?
So, ABC News has suspended veteran news correspondent Terry Morin following a controversial post on X where he labeled President Donald Trump and Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller as world-class haters. Morin's late-night post, which has quickly been deleted, described Trump's hatred as a means of self-glorification and Miller's as a spiritual nourishment. The Trump administration swiftly condemned the remarks, with White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt demanding accountability from ABC News. And just hours later, ABC News announced Morin's suspension, stating that the post violated their standards of objectivity and impartiality. The decision comes amid heightened scrutiny of Miller, a polarizing figure often criticized for his hardline immigration policies. Vice President J.D. Vance defended Miller, calling for an apology from ABC. The incident has sparked debate about journalistic impartiality and the role that the social media world plays in political discourse. So, yeah. Play this clip of Carolyn Leavitt real quick.
And you said ABC is going to take action. What do you expect that action to be?
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, hopefully this journalist will either be suspended or terminated. You cannot go on these unhinged rants against administration officials and the president of the United States. And then clearly he knew he was wrong because he deleted the post as soon as he allegedly woke up this morning.
So he didn't wake up this morning?
Well, allegedly woke up. He allegedly woke up. But
you know what, though? I would tell ABC, you know what, ABC? Maybe it's time to be objective. Maybe it's time to stand up and not capitulate to a madman. Maybe it's time. I would just throw that out there.
I mean, I keep coming on here and saying since show one, why do we compromise with a madman? I mean, if I have to go pull every clip of me saying it on this show and then piecing it together so it can be a reels, I don't care. Why do we continue to compromise with a madman
Right? And
on
he's
these things?
Totally right. Like, Donald Trump's hatred is the equivalent of a character in a TV show.
But it is for his self-glorification.
It is.
As we have discussed, it comes down to if I don't get value and I don't look like a kingmaker or some type of a if my narcissistic aspect doesn't get patted on the back or rubbed down properly, I'm unhappy.
Yeah.
I'm a mean person. Miller, on the other hand, we said, hey, this dude looks
He's truly evil.
He looks like he's not a good dude.
No, you know why you can see Donald Trump hang out with people who maybe like a month ago, 2 years ago, even like a week ago, who have said terrible things about him? It's because he doesn't actually hate anyone. Everything about him is transactional, even the people he hates. He uses you for the moment to get what he wants, and then afterward, if you want to hang out with him, okay, I guess I don't hate you anymore. Bill Maher, perfect example. Donald Trump tried to sue him years ago.
I know.
Had him over for dinner.
I know a lot of people in this world that just hang out with somebody to get what they want from them, and then they leave them by the wayside after the fact because that's just how they are as people. That's not a Trump thing. That's a liberal thing, too.
But that's how Trump is. So that fits into a team.
That's an everybody thing.
But him specifically, there's bodies littered all over the highway of Donald Trump.
Sure.
People he's thrown out of the car.
Sure, there's bodies littered all over the highway of Jason Cole and Mark Bland, too. But the problem is nobody is talking about any of that. But nobody's talking about any of that. Like, there's nothing to talk about.
Well, we're not doing it on that scale that he's doing. I mean, he's ruining lives, you know. He's tearing people apart.
I don't know. It depends on what we did, Jason, and that body. Maybe it did ruin a life.
Maybe. I hope not. I don't think I
Jason,
ruined
you've
anyone's
never
life.
wanted to ruin anyone's life?
Come
on, Jay. You've gone live on our show
I don't know if I want to
and said
ruin their
that you
life.
wish that Donald Trump, what was it you famously said? In fact, what was it? Just a few weeks ago.
Would go away forever.
Yeah. There was a thing that James Comey put on the beach.
Oh, yeah, 86-47. Yeah.
There you go, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen. See?
Power of impeachment. Gone. See ya. He needs to go. We're showing every day just how bad he needs to go. I mean, this is serious. It's not fun anymore. Remember how it's fun to kind of laugh at him and make fun of him? In fact, we have a video here in a little bit where we're going to make fun of him. But it's
we
also
do?
serious. Yeah, we got a little clip of him.
Oh, I didn't even know. We have a clip of him to make fun of?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, Jay. Well, what?
Let's go ahead and roll that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Was that Joe Biden?
that was not.
Wait, that wasn't Joe
What a
Biden?
maroon. What an ignoramus. What a...
That's him.
Whoa, rewind that for me.
That
Can
is
you
him
play
falling
that clip?
up the stairs.
Can you
to
play
Air
that clip
Force
for me?
One.
That's not Joe Biden?
That is not Joe Biden.
Who is that?
That is Donald J. Trump.
That's Donald John Trump, the president of the
Alpha
United
male.
States. Is this Donald Trump 45 or is this Donald Trump 47?
This is 47. This is
So
from
this
over
is
the
current?
weekend. Yeah, this is just the other day.
Well, look at that cognitive decline.
Right?
Look at his cognitive decline.
Can't even
Look
walk
at
upstairs.
all of his cognitive decline. Does Jake Tapper have his book ready to go yet?
He's already defending
Does
him.
Jake Tapper have his book ready to go, Jay?
I would say he does not. But you know what? I will give Donald Trump some credit. At least this time, he did not have toilet paper on his shoe. He famously did that as well.
Boys and girls, what is this? What is any of this? This is weird. It doesn't make any sense. It's all over the place. This is wild. And things could be handled in a much more professional, better way here in our country in general. Whether you're, you know what? We jumped to that thing with him falling on the stairs too quickly because this journalistic integrity situation with Terry Morum is something that needs to be discussed in a much deeper way. They are on the verge of coming after. Listen, they're already skipping Title X, National Guard, going after people on the streets. Arrest the governor of a state. Great. Now they're on purposely, just like they did with Mika Brzezinski or morning show host or whatever it was, attacking journalists, but now they're coming after journalists for just disagreeing with them. Right? Not everybody thinks that Stephen Miller is the hottest piece of ass in America.
I would think not.
So if there's a few ladies out there that just think Stephen Miller isn't what they would consider their cup of tea, does that mean they should be deported? Does that mean they should be arrested? Does that mean they should lose their job? Does that mean they shouldn't be allowed to ever go to the go-karts again? Like, does that mean Six Flags shouldn't be open to them? Like,
No.
What does it mean that Stephen Miller feels that this guy thinks he's hateful? How many people have said Stephen Miller's hateful on Twitter since 2015? How many people do you think, honestly, have gone on Twitter and typed out for the world to see, and it's still there today, right now? We can go back and look it up. How many people do you think have said Stephen Miller is a hateful person, or he hates things, or he hates people? How many? Guys, it has to be in the millions. I'm serious. We're not talking a few thousand. No. The comments, the back and forth, the posts he's put up alone and then argued with people back and forth on, and there are 45,000 thread counts under those arguments, under the arguments. Like, there's no way it's not in the millions. So all of those people deserve to lose their job, like Mr. Morin from ABC News. And should we lose our jobs? Should Jason lose his job? Should I lose my job?
Well, I definitely think he's hateful, so we'll find out.
I'm just saying, like, should we lose our jobs, Jay? Like, I don't feel that us coming on here and saying Clerks 2 is better than Clerks 1 because I like the donkey show joke better. Like, I don't think that means I shouldn't.
You're out of here, deported.
But that's kind of how it's starting to feel. I come to the show, I sit down in front of the camera, and it's like, oh, here's another week of just horrible things from Donald Trump.
You know, people hear us joke about being deported, but don't forget, when he had the president of El Salvador in the Oval Office, the hot mic caught him telling him, well, next we have to do the citizens.
That's right.
When we were talking about sending
Guys,
the CCOT.
Every
So,
accusation is an admission of guilt. Every time he says that it's happening or something's happening, he's pointing back at himself. He literally is doing it. That's where we're at in America right now.
You know, you can see Stephen Miller's hate on him, though, because I am like 15 years older than Stephen Miller, and he looks like he's 10 years older than me.
Yeah, like, how old is Stephen Miller?
He's like 38, 36, something like that.
You're 30. You're your mid-30s, and you act and look like that?
Yeah.
Why?
It's hate, man. Hate tears you up inside.
Why did your wife go with Elon down to Texas? Like, you live in Washington, D.C. and probably have kids. Why did you leave your husband and go with the...
Yeah, she left her government job for it, too. She already had a job in Washington. It wasn't like she was unemployed and that was the only option.
That's the same Elon Musk that's enemies with Donald Trump, right? He's like
now gonna
hardcore
fund Democrats.
Hardcore enemies with Donald Trump, right?
He is.
He's going to fund Democrats, he's hardcore enemies with Donald Trump now, except for I took my Epstein tweet down.
Yeah, he did do that.
Why'd you take the Epstein tweet down?
It has to be something to do with the contracts. My guess is it's money.
You think so?
They probably.
I think it's straight up a lawsuit. I think it's you just accused me of being in the Epstein stuff, and if you're wrong, then this looks like this.
I would be like, go ahead and sue me because I would love to go through and sit down and talk to you, and have a conversation and depositions on what happened on the Epstein Island, because I think Trump should be careful what he wishes for on that.
The people that were being bad, and listen,
discovery might not work out so well for Trump.
The people that were being bad and needed to be arrested and needed to be gotten rid of, that needed all these things, right? They were already being handled in America.
Oh, yeah,
we have jails for this. We have police officers for this.
Yeah,
crooks being crooks and criminals.
They get rounded up.
They're already getting rounded up, and we go after the people we need to go after. What you guys are doing is cosplaying. You've got 3 dudes that you want to go after this one guy. Let's just use the name Kilmar because it's popular. You want to go after Kilmar. You got 3 dudes that need to do it, right? They can go to so-and-so's job, knock on the door, talk to the owner of it, see if they can talk to the guy and see if they can, like, figure out a way. Nope. What you want to do is go, I'm going to tell a joke. And this joke is from a movie called Colors, starring Sean Penn and Robert Duvall. And in the scene, Robert Duvall and Sean just got coffee. It's the morning. And they see some gangbangers right down the road from them. And Robert Duvall's just sipping his coffee. He's just enjoying his day. And he's not messing with them. He sees they're doing bad. He understands. He just ain't messing with it. He's just letting them do their thing. Sean Penn is watching it like a hawk. If you've never seen this movie, he's watching it like a hawk, and he wants to go say something to him. He wants to go do something. And Robert Duvall pulls him off to the side, and he goes, hey, I know you want to run over there and mess with those people. I know you really want to do this bad. He goes, you want to run over there and fuck with one of those people. And he goes, but why don't we walk over there and fuck with them all? Okay. Well, Cosplay Christie and Tom Homan and my Stephen Millers of the world and the entire Trump administration and everything that's going on with the protests and the way that they're handling ICE and deportations, you're not walking over to do everything with everyone. You're coming in 100 miles an hour with 15 black SUVs. You got 70 people that jump out with guns, masks, and everything else. You go find 2 people, you wrestle them to the ground with 10 people, you throw them into the back of these things, and then you roll out with 15 more trucks again. All of that in a 5-minute period. That's what they're seeing in LA. That's what they're seeing in New York. That's what they're seeing in these places. You guys aren't smart about any of it, right? It's not for self-glorification. You're not even getting glorification out of this. You've lost allies. You've lost this. You lost this. You just got Mark and Jason sitting here saying Trump kind of sucks as a person. And all of this kind of sucks. I've got journalists that can't keep their jobs. Guys, this is a bigger problem right now than just some protests this weekend because of immigration. He has been talking about immigration and going after the immigrants for months and months and campaigned on it. I'm mad at you liberals that didn't vote for Kamala because she was a black woman and you just couldn't handle it. And I'm mad at the rest of you for being lied to, and now it's been proven you've been lied to by Donald Trump multiple times, and you did nothing about it at the voting booth. You allowed it to continue to happen. You just egged it on. And you're worthless and useless. And I guess if you disagree with me, so be it. I don't care. I don't live my life for you at all. I don't live my life for Jason or Metro or Jordan or anybody. Like, I live my life for me. My life is what my life is made up of. The story's in it, my point of view, and what I have to do with on the path I'm on. It's not everybody else's path and what they want for it. So if I'm in that position and Jason's in that position and we have to deal with these things this way, you're going to get an honest approach from us. You're just going to get an honest opinion on these things. Right now, we think America sucks. We think Donald Trump sucks. We think this protest stuff sucks. We think a lot of this stuff sucks. And it's no fun to talk about. Guys, I'd love to talk about other topics. But every while, I have to come back to immigration and more problems with protests and stuff. And it's because of Trump. Jay.
Yes.
I don't want to leave on a bad note.
You want to leave on a high note?
I do. I've got top 10 minor annoyances that stress all of us out to the max. What's something minor that you find majorly annoying?
Red lights.
Red lights as far as like them existing?
Lengthy red lights. Needlessly lengthy red lights.
Oh, where like you can tell nobody's coming from the other direction.
And extremely short green turning lights.
Or yellows. The ones that go boom, boom. Like, yeah. Okay, all right. So, good job. Correct. That's kind of what I'm looking for. A big annoyance.
But it's not a huge thing.
But it's kind of a minor thing.
Yeah.
All right, so I got a top 10 list here. Let's run these down. Let's see how accurate this list is because we love to see how accurate lists are. When you run into someone you'd rather not talk to.
Okay.
Sure.
Depending on why, that could be a big deal.
That could be a big deal depending on the situation. But yeah, that is kind of a...
But yeah, it's a little...
Here's the thing. It always feels awkward, especially if a lot of time has passed and you really haven't talked.
Yeah.
there's really no belief that they even remember 10 years down the road what this was, or 5 years later what this was or that. Like, they might not remember. I don't know. But, yeah, I can see that. Number 2, a knock at the door when you weren't expecting anyone. Now, I don't think that's as much for guys like you and me and anyone over the age of 40. I think most people over the age of 40 are from the old ways where, like, communication was a lot more smaller.
Yeah. You ever notice when you get older, you get suspicious when someone rings your doorbell?
Sure.
Like when you were younger and like a kid?
That was my point. When we were younger, we would run for the door and be like,
hey, someone's here.
So and so is here. Or by the way, back in the 90s, until you got a pager, and we'll start with pagers.
Yeah.
All it was a phone on the wall. Either someone answered on the other end or they didn't. If they did, and you told them you'd be over to their house in 20 minutes, that was how it worked. You just told them you would be there in 15 to 20 minutes, and then you showed up in 15 to 20 minutes, and you hoped they were at their house.
Yeah, I'm not sure how old I was when I finally switched to why is someone ringing our doorbell and became suspicious of that activity, but it happened.
I understand. Number 3, someone talking to you when you're trying to focus or want silence.
Okay.
Like if you want like
annoying, right?
total control of a situation, like give me 15 minutes to really hammer this out, but it's not like, you keep hearing like
that's
a dog
more of
barking in the background.
I feel that's a kid's thing.
Could be, or the neighbor's dog barking through the window or something. Like, it could be a lot of those little things like that. When the Wi-Fi slows down or cuts out. Now that's a new age problem.
Yeah.
That's a 2020.
That's not a Gen X
That's
problem.
a 2000s problem in moving. That's a millennials problem right there. Number 5. Now this is a classic, Jay. And I don't know where you stand on this.
Okay.
Loud chewing.
It's gross.
People who chew with their mouth open loudly.
One reason.
Are you an adamant hater, or are you one of those people who's passive, like you can deal with it, you're not worried about it?
I guess I would be an adamant hater because it's just so gross and needless. And that's one of the reasons I don't listen to Rogan. He chews gum while he does his show, and there's lots of honk, honk, honk going on, and it's so annoying.
Well, when you are the number 1 podcast or number 2 in the world, and you've got
you can chew gum?
a team behind you that promotes the hell out of you and does whatever, like you can chew whatever you want, you can do whatever you want with your cool show. When you got the team behind you helping you to do all that stuff. A phone call, number 6, a phone call you weren't expecting, I guess. Okay. I mean, it just depends what the phone call is. Number 7, heavy breathing.
Weird.
I think that's a weird one.
More creepy than
I don't understand where heavy breathing would come in this one. Like,
weird.
But then again, maybe significant others like that they breathe heavily in your ear or something like that when they're laying next to you. I don't know. Number 8, an alarm going off. Now that could be a personal decision because you just had a rough night,
or
right?
Someone else's alarm in another room that's not being turned off.
Too many text messages and dings. Like a lot of dings from text messages?
Maybe.
Sure, if you're in like 15 different chats and you got 15 different chats going on.
Be glad you're so popular.
Yeah. Be glad that you're so popular.
Yeah.
Don't worry about too many dings.
No, be happy.
Yeah, be happy. Everything's great.
Yeah. People are
especially when it's not from your point of view. It's always great from everyone else's. Number 10, your phone going off when you're in a work meeting. Now that... I mean, that's happened to us live on the show where my phone or your phone's going off while we were sitting here and it started ringing and we had to stop it. Yeah.
I mean,
that could be an annoying thing, though.
That can be annoying. It's more of like a shocking, turn it off.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to get out of here on this episode of the Occupy Democrats show. You can follow me at Mark Bland. That's MarkBland on all my social medias, as well as down there, somewhere over there. And then Jason over there.
Yes, you can follow me at Jason Cole on all social medias, Featherbangs at Twitter. But I have one more thing to go out on a high note. There was another shout out because there was another graduation.
Jason, I think that this show...
Ethan.
Your son, Ethan.
Yes, and I have a little short 6-second clip here of him walking across the stage. If we could pop that up.
Ethan James Cole.
There he is, crossing the stage right there. Congratulations on that. We had a good time this weekend, and then we all protested about it outside.
Wait. Did you have a graduation party?
Not a party. My parents came down. We're having a party in 2 different towns because I don't have a lot of family down here.
You didn't even invite me to the graduation party?
It wasn't a party. It was just my parents.
That's a good point. It's just your parents. I don't want to just...
Yeah, it wasn't a party. The parties aren't in this town because, like I said, there's no family around here.
Oh, well, fair enough. Well, hey, congratulations to Ethan, and good luck on your future, young man. And with that make sure you follow us at Occupy Democrats on all of our social media handles. Occupy Democrats. That's where you can find us everywhere on all social media. We'll see you guys again on the next show.